Welcome back to the broadcast once more for the final lap of the show today. Let's go to the phone lines now and talk to you. With your views, comments and questions, we are talking about what is happening with the handshake. Is there betrayal on the cards? The ODM brigade led by Senator James Orengo saying that there is a plot to sabotage Raila Odinga's presidential ambitions in 2022. Is the BBI in jeopardy? That's a question we're asking. Let's go to the phone lines. Let's begin with Kevin Okech calling us from here in Nairobi. Kevin, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Ben. How are you today?
Good, fun, thank you. What is your take on what's happening in 1 minute only?
Well, Ben, I think the handshake is being compromised by Uhuru-allied politicians, especially looking at the way they brought in Gideon Moi to give a speech, which would otherwise would have been given by either Uhuru Kenyatta or Raila Odinga. Now, Ben, this actually shows the political course that could actually take its course between now and maybe March next year. Mulembe Nation, I strongly believe that Mulembe Nation is not intact as we are assuming it to be, because when we are looking at the margin within which the Mulembe Nation won against ODM and these other parties, it is very clear that ODM gave them a run for their money, which shouldn't be the case, especially in their own stronghold. Ben, finally, let me speak about the last issue of politics, of violence in elections, Ben. Ben, I think NCIC is really doing Kenyans more harm than good, because they have a budget every year, and they cannot say that the budget is to name and shame politicians. They cannot act, the judiciary is not acting, and these politicians always get their way on the courts through the cash bail and what have you. I think, Ben, it is time to look at these politicians with a very hard eye, irrespective of whatever kind of politicians they are in this country, Ben.
Hold on, Mr. Okech. If you think that there are plans to sabotage Raila Odinga, who do you think is being fronted for
Ben,
2022?
it's very clear from what we are seeing as the Luo Nation. We are seeing especially Gideon Moi coming out very strongly, and Ben, I want you to look at what happened in 2002. We saw President Moi bringing Uhuru Kenyatta, who was not known by anyone in this country at then, but just as a mere minister, and this could as well happen again in 10 years later, when Uhuru will actually be trying to bring in Gideon Moi to outshine all these people. And then finally, on this matter, we are seeing how Gideon Moi has been traversing the country, and we can read between the lines of his speeches, Ben. So
okay.
We are thinking that Gideon Moi could actually be fronted to actually act against Raila Odinga, but I can tell you that Raila Odinga always has a plan B, a plan C, and a plan D.
Thank you, Engineer Kevin Okech, calling us from right here in Nairobi. Let's go to the Raka now and talk to Michael Mwai. Michael, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon, Mr. Kitili.
Yes, thank you for calling.
Okay, thank you too.
Yes.
Yeah, Michael, I think the blame falls on the top government officials.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because as we see, like now the CS for security, Mr. Matiang'i, we have seen him campaigning to the BBI.
Yes, go on, we can hear you.
Yeah, we have seen him campaigning for the BBI. So, okay, we have seen the police being biased, going against the youth. This political drama for deputy president.
Mm-hmm.
UDP.
Yes, UDA.
Yeah, UDA.
Mm-hmm.
We have seen them. We saw them in this lineup for London. So the whole blame falls on the top government. How can internal security CS campaign? I thought he is supposed to be non-partisan, non-partisan.
All right, good question there.
Yeah.
What do you think is happening with the handshake?
Okay, the handshake is still contributing on this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, though it's a bit good, but still they are. Okay, they are still biased in some people.
All right.
Yeah, people are biased. Mostly
Thank you.
the police. The police are biased. So they are lining on one side.
Thank you, Michael. Michael saying that the police are being biased, pointing an accusing finger on the state there. Let's go to the county of Kisii and talk to Francis Moranga. Francis, good afternoon. Thank you for calling. Give us your thoughts on the handshake between the president and the ODM leader. Hello, Francis? All right, we seem to be having a problem. Francis Moranga, can you hear me? All right, we'll try to reconnect with Francis there. Let's go to Ibrahim Salah. Ibrahim, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, my brother Ben Kitili.
Thank you.
The panelists.
Thank you, Ibrahim, for calling. Let's start with the handshake. We are hearing all these stories, all these concerns by ODM that Uhuru's men are sabotaging the former Prime Minister. What are your thoughts?
Ben Kitili, from the start,
Yes.
the handshake politics was a political convenience. So, if Raila is betrayed by Uhuru and his henchmen, that is not a news to this country. It was expected. Raila has been betrayed not once, not twice. He has been betrayed so many years, and this was expected. That's what I have to say.
All right.
Let me go to the recently concluded by elections in Mutunga, Kabuchai, and the Huruma and London areas.
Yes.
I want to say this, William Ruto and his Tangatanga team think that they have monopoly of political bribery and intimidation. These people, they invest so much in crowd pollings and intimidations. So when Raila, Musalia Mudavadi, and Weta mobilized their team,
Yes.
Raila, Ruto and his men start crying foul that we are being intimidated, voter bribery. There's nothing like that. Ruto wanted to bribe voters so that he could be voted for his man, but unfortunately, Wetangula and Mudavadi outshone him, and he was due. So I wanted to say that Raila and Ruto are political advisories. That is, everybody knows. But what I want to say is that whether Raila will be betrayed or not, the unity, the stability of this country is more important than anybody else. So whether Raila declaration today will be about BBI politics,
yes.
What I want to say is that let the stability of this country be guarded seriously so that we can move forward as Kenyans. Thank you.
Very well said. Thank you, Ibrahim Salah, calling us from the county of Garissa. Let's go back to Kisii to reconnect our lines with Francis Moranga. Francis, can you hear us now?
Yes, I'm hearing you very well.
Yes, thank you for calling. Give us your thoughts.
Thank you, and I'm very happy with your panelists. And straight away to the point,
Yes.
Raila Odinga has been cheated so much. And I don't know why it's getting that very wrong. Remember 2002. He was cheated that he's going to back it MOU. Later, that memorandum was danced down. I don't know where it went. Look, 2006, Mao Forest, it killed Papa Kapisa. Now it has come to BPI.
Yes.
This is BPI rabbit is going nowhere. It is just tinting the name of Raila. I request Obara to advise Papa that we love him very much.
All right.
But I don't see him going anywhere with that.
Okay.
Going to what is happening with the current way of voting.
Yes.
In fact, I'm very living in Kenya, where we can take police more than the voters themselves to all polling stations. What happened in Kisii, in fact, it was very much affecting everybody. We were very unhappy with the way Matiang'i is taking people. Because how can you be arresting only one side? I didn't see Gladys Wanga being arrested. I didn't see Cleopas Marara being arrested. I don't know what is happening. Because that is what is causing violence year in, year out. For that reason, and NIC Kobia, in fact, is supposed to be in the church arranging our young pastors to be out there, supposed to be doing the work.
All right.
That means fair, and in fact, this whatever they are not doing us anything good.
Tell me this, Francis. Tell me this before I let you go.
Yeah.
If you're saying Baba has been cheated, what would you advise him to do next with the BBI and his presidential ambitions?
Hello?
Hello?
Yes.
What do you think the former Prime Minister Raila Odinga should do next now if he is being
cheated? Imagine this is the fourth round he is being cheated, and after which dumped just on the roadside.
All right.
And from there, I know it's not going to succeed just because PPI, nobody can accept it the way it is.
All right, thank you, Francis. Francis Moranga with his views there from the county of Kisii. Many thanks for your wise words. Let's talk to one final caller, still from Kisii, Julius Amache. Julius, good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you.
1 minute only. Please talk to us.
Let me talk about the handshake betrayal.
Yes.
I want to believe that Raila Odinga failed to balance between supporting the handshake and attacking the handshake at the same time.
What do you mean?
Now he's attacking William Ruto, who is in the government. And the same government, you know, is where the handshake is between Raila Odinga and the president, Uhuru Kenyatta.
Yes.
So when you say that the government has not fulfilled its promises, and you attack William Ruto, but the same government is where Uhuru Kenyatta is. So I think the government could not stomach that nonsense. They had to put up a little bit of a break for him.
Okay. That's
by denying him the finances.
Oh, you think they've denied him the finances?
Of course, it is true. Because through the BBI, the government has been supporting his campaigns. But of late, it's only Raila Odinga who is supporting his own campaigns.
All right. Thank you so much, Julius. Julius Amache there, calling us from Kisii. Many thanks to all our callers for contacting us with your views, comments, and questions. Let me go to the panelists now for their final thoughts. Let me begin with you, Javas. 60 seconds only. Give me your final thoughts.
I would say that with respect to matters handshake, the interest of the country comes first. I do not expect that Honorable Raila Odinga and Uhuru Kenyatta will let the handshake collapse. What they need to do is to manage the tongues, interests of those who work under them. Even today, before noon, I expect that Honorable Raila Odinga in his rally in Kibra will make statements that will strengthen the political relations and partnership between himself and President Kenyatta through the handshake, which will even see that the deliberations amongst politicians would do much more for the national interests and greater good and the progress of our country.
All right.
With respect to matters elections violence, I would say that all agencies that are supposed to work on matters good governance, from the NCAC to the Inspector General of Police, to the Ministry of Interior, and all political leaders, we must do so much, including the citizens, to ensure that the kind of malpractices that have been witnessed in London Ward, in Matungu, and Kabuchai should not find any possibility of materializing in the 2022 general election. Otherwise, we would be proving to the world that we do not learn from our own bad history to make our own future history better.
Thank you, Javas. Kipchumba, 60 seconds only, please. Your final thoughts.
Ben, I think there is something that we need to, there is a fallacy we need to open the lid upon it. The issue that we can have people in Harambee House, or you have called them a cabal, fighting the handshake. There is nothing like that. It is either Uhuru Kenyatta is fighting the handshake or it is not being fought. This half-truth about the handshake is a lie. And when we come to the whole thing about the nation, Kenya, and the national, and our course as a people going forward, we need to know that whether the handshake collapses or not, Kenya is not guided by people shaking hands. We are guided by a constitution. What we must ask the civil servants is that they must live by the oath they swore to protect this country. And Uhuru Kenyatta must know that he still has a responsibility in running Kenya as a going concern. As much as we talk about BBI, we talk about the handshake. There are things in that handshake that sting to the high heaven. There are things that do not sit well with the law, that a man saw himself in, and he did not apologize. There was nothing that has been done. He came to the table, he's been given a corner, and he's now claiming the corner. Without helping in forming a government, why are we having elections then?
Thank you.
We should be allowing the top two contenders to shake hands. So for all it's worth, BBI should collapse. But to the rally in Kamukunji today, I know it is not magic. What will happen is that Raila is serving a proclamation notice to Uhuru Kenyatta.
Right.
As a decree holder, he's just trying to tell Uhuru Kenyatta, if you don't do this, you might not have the peace you've been enjoying.
Thank you.
Nothing much.
Rosalind, your final remarks.
Ben, it's regrettable that we are still revisiting the issue of deep state. And I think it is something so sad that we have dragged this conversation to bring in the public officers who had sworn to protect the Constitution and protect the offices they serve it. I think it is high time, just like Orengo said, that we need to call and shame these officers. Now, whatever happens between now and the 9th of this month, when we celebrate the 3 years anniversary of the handshake, will be very crucial for this country. Remember last week when the Magic 7 had a press conference at State House. They said they will have a joint event on the 9th where they will bring together the leadership of National Parliament and the counties together. We are yet to see that, because that will be the only option that will give the public the confidence that the handshake is still where it is and it's not on shaky grounds. To finish is the issue of violence. I think our leaders really need to rethink where they're taking this country. It was so sad to see that even the journalists were not spared this time round. They were attacked. That just tells you where Kenya, the social fabric is at its lowest, because if this is what can happen, what will we be seeing in 2022?
Thank you, Dr. Ari. 1 minute, you final remarks.
Thank you, Ben. My plea is to the politicians in this country to be true to their oath of office, to be true to the citizens, and only tell us what is true and what they intend to implement. Number two, it is obvious now that our economy is in crisis. The IMF is in town, just the way it was in town during Mzee Moi's time. Soon there will be issue of public servants being retrenched. The inflation is an all-time high. Bro, whatever you say, Kenya is in a crisis. We cannot afford to continue beating up His Excellency Uhuru Kenyatta all the time. It is done, it is done.
All right.
And therefore, if indeed Honorable Uhuru Kenyatta and Honorable Raila Odinga agreed that the BBI was not about 2022, then I beseech Honorable Raila Odinga to remain true to that, so that we don't begin polarizing the nation. In any event, all other leaders were told the reason why they should not partake on the BBI high table is because the BBI high table is only for presidents. There are 2 presidents.
All right.
So if the handshake is hitting the rough storms, then don't tell us the cowards. Tell a fellow president. Those are the only ones whom you share the high table.
Thank you, Dr. Ari.
Thank you.
Dr. Lutalala Mukwana, lawyer and political commentator, political editor at The Standard, my colleague Rosalind Obala, lawyer and political strategist Kipchumba Karori, and of course, political analyst Javas Bigambo joining us from our City Center studio. That's how we leave it on Inside Politics this Sunday. Be sure to join us every Sunday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. as we dissect the biggest political and policy issues in the Republic. I am Ben Kitili. Thank you for watching. Stand by for Weekend at 1 with George Maringa.